remember from earlier on, our head is where we put the extra information, and the body is where we put the content that we'll actually be seeing on the screen. So I'm first going to come into my head here, and we're going to give this the meta tag for our car set, which is one of the important ones, and pretty much everyone will always just be using UTF-8. We're going to look at another meta tag that I haven't looked at that's fun. We're going to do meta name is author and content is Kevin. What this is, it's letting people know who the author of the site is. So you just put your name as the content. So the name of this meta tag is author, so we're letting it know it's an author tag. And I'm putting the content as Kevin, so the author is Kevin, which is me. And the next one is something we have seen before. Close title, my first layout. Great, so I'm going to save that. And while we're here, we might as well open this up in the browser. So let's just move this over so we can see what we're doing at the same time. And I like setting this up so it takes up about half my window and this on the other half. And there we go. I have a blank layout, but we can see that the title is working. So the next thing I want to do, we want to come into our body and we want to start putting some content in there. So we might as well jump down here and come and we're going to do 3 different parts to this, or 4. We're going to start with our header and close header. And while I'm doing this, I might as well pull this up. So my header is this big thing here, and it's a tag we haven't looked at. It works a lot like a div would. It's exactly like a div, except it actually means something. A div is an abstract box. In this case, it's not an abstract box. It's the header of my site. It's where things like your logo and your navigation go. So we have our header. Then we have this area down here that has this area plus a sidebar over here. So we're going to start by doing a div class here and close. And this is my container. So my container will hold everything right in the middle of the screen. It's going to hold these things in place so they're not touching the sides. And inside there I have 2 things. I have a section, close section, and I have an aside and close aside. So a section is sort of what the name implies. It's a section of my website, and the aside is like a sidebar. So a couple new tags, but again, these, just like the header, they work just like a div. It's a box that's just there to hold some content, but it's letting the website know a little bit more. It's letting the browser know a little bit more information about what its purpose is. And then down at the bottom, we will have our footer. Close footer. And that's about it as far as actually putting in the tags. Now we just have to actually have some content that we're going to put in here. So I'm going to start by getting rid of this, so we just have our blank page there. So if I save this and refresh, nothing actually changes. All of this is in place, but without any content in there, we don't see anything quite yet. So in my header, let's come and just put the title of my website, H1, my first website. Close H1. And let's refresh. Hey, then there we go. Awesome. So now let's come down to our section, and I'm just going to use some filler text in my section here. We'll start off with a heading, so another H1, close H1, and then we'll do a paragraph, close paragraph, and another paragraph, close paragraph, just so we have some stuff that's in there. This is the main content area of this page, and here it's a bit long. Let's put 2 short paragraphs in there. So this is just some lore, some text. It doesn't actually mean anything at all. And save, refresh, and there we go. I have my 2 paragraphs. And we'll jump down over to here. We have an aside, so I'll put an H2 inside my aside, along with, and let's go with an ordered list, just for fun. So open ordered list, close ordered list, and in there list item, close list item. And let's just do list item 1. Again, it's just to fill this up. Why we'd have a list item in a sidebar, and, you know, maybe you're linking to some websites you like. This is my sidebar. Awesome. And at the very end down here, inside my footer, I'll come down and just put a nice simple paragraph. Close paragraph, and we'll grab a little bit of filler text just to throw in there. And there we go. There's my footer. And as far as the actual HTML, placing the content on the page, that
All right, so that was pretty simple. Does anybody have any questions about what he did? Hello?
The name of section and a site, it's just regular name, right?
Yeah, it's just like a div, except like it gives more information, right? It's just an easier way. So rather than doing like div main content, there's already like a ready-made div that has a different name. You get it? Anybody else? Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty simple. You saw how the header part works, and he talked about the header part, and then the section and the aside. Aside is just things that go on the side, right? And then he talked about the footer. And the main thing that you needed to see was how he actually created a layout, right? He created some sort of a basic wireframe and is working, using that rather than just putting all of the content in and then you know just doing as he starts to create a website. It's much easier if you plan things out. All right, so let's look at the second one. I'm sorry, did someone have a question?
And this what meta chart set UTF-8.
Uh-huh.
Yes, and I see this and I don't I see it sometimes. And
Uh-huh.
what does
So
it mean?
so meta chart set means meta character set. So character set is like, how we have A, B, C, D, E, these are all characters. All right, so A, B, C, D, E is like alphabet character set, but we have a lot of ways we can write, right? um you know so for example, if we what's the best example? So for example, think about all of these French or German companies with like the names in the pronunciation, like Lancome, or what's the other one? Uh, I can't think of another one. Anyways, everybody knows what Lancome is. Yes, no.
Yes, I know.
Yeah. So at the top of the O, you see like the caret sign, right?
Yes, in French too.
Yeah, in French, right? So
Yes.
what that is that's a special character set. So sometimes what happens is websites have basic character sets, but they don't have special character sets, right? So in order for you to, be able to write that way, you have to say, you know, your computer that might not support it, so I'm going to like export or like bring in like a whole new set of characters. You get it?
I see. So when we build the website, we need to start with meta chart set line, right?
Yeah. So like if you're using like special characters like umlaut and what's that, tilde, and these are still regular ones. There's a lot of them. So you guys understand what an umlaut is, right? It's the dot on top of like an alphabet. That's an umlaut. And tilde is just like, it doesn't pronounce e, and it pronounced eh. You guys know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so those are special character sets. So your browser might not support it. So if you do UTF-8, it will bring it from like one of the servers. So from one of the servers, like World Wide Web servers, free servers, and then be able to display it on the user's computer. You get it?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, that is what UTF-8 means. There are different types of character sets, but UTF-8 is the most popular. You don't really need to know anything else besides UTF-8. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. All right, so let's look at the second one. Now, he's created the website, or at least he's laid down the HTML, right? So what's he going to do? We saw what he was trying to do. So how does he do it? Let's find that out.
Okay guys, the fun starts in this video because we're going to be doing our CSS now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new file. So Command or Control N, and I'm going to save that file. I'm going to make a new folder called CSS, and inside of that CSS folder I'm going to save my styles.css. Now I could do a whole bunch of CSS, but before I do that I need to come over here and link that CSS file over. So let's come here and do link href is equal to, and rel is equal to. So the href is where can it find my file, so it can go into the CSS folder, and inside there it will find styles.css, and my rel is the relationship. We have to tell it that this is a style sheet. Save that, and well, refreshing right now won't actually do anything, but now we can start doing stuff. And if you're not sure if you did anything right, you could just come and change the color of the background color of your body. Let's just make it red and see what happens, and hey, it looks like I did things properly. So great. Now I don't want my background color to be red, but I am going to change my background color. I've got a few colors pre-picked out here, so you're free to use these ones. I'm using CDE7BO, so if you're following along you can use these, or you go find a color picker and come up with your own color scheme. Now what I want to do is, let's change a few other things. I'm going to use CSS font stack. So you might remember this. I want to switch over to Century Gothic. It has pretty good support and through the font stack. Let's copy that. And let's change the font family. So refresh, so font family, and I'm just pasting this since I copied it from CSS font stack, but you might want to be using something on your own, so font family is how you can choose your font family. I'm also going to change my font size, make it a little bit bigger, 18 pixels. Yeah, that looks pretty good. So now let's come and fix up my header region over here. So I'm going to choose my header, or select my header. So I rate header, that's my selector, and it's selecting my header right there. So we'll save that, and let's come and change the background color of this area too. And I'm going to be going with 5959 4A, which is a dark brown. There we go. Now right away we see a little bit of a weird thing going on. When I do that is we have this space all around here. The space on the top is coming from the margin on the text, but there is a space on the sides here too. What's causing this is all of the browsers by default give us a margin of 8 pixels all the way around. It puts this margin all the way around, so by default our text isn't touching the side. So if you're not going in putting a lot of CSS in there, you can actually read your text instead of having the text nudged up right on the edge there. Now most websites you will be building, if you keep up with this, is going to need this in your CSS, a margin of 0 to get rid of that. We don't want that space there. Now up here we have a bit of an issue, but that's easy enough to fix. I want to add some padding. So I'm going to do padding top of 50 pixels, padding bottom of 50 pixels. And there we go, my heading is taking shape. Now the padding is much bigger here, so I'm going to right click on here and I'm going to go down to inspect. and if you're in other browsers, you'll find something similar. And I can see here is my header, and I can see that blue box is the content inside, and the green bars is the padding that I just put on there. And right there is my H1, and my H1 has that default margin on the top and the bottom that we looked at already. So that margin is adding. So this is 50 pixels plus the margin top, and then my margin bottom plus the 50 pixels. So it is bigger than the 50. There's a few things I want to do. Also, let's throw a text align on here. Text align center. That's better. And let's change our color to white. So that's FFF. And one more thing. Let's do a text transform of uppercase. There we go. My first website. It's really there. And now let's come down to this area down here. So if you remember there, we have our div class container. And then inside of our container, we have a section and an aside, which is our sidebar. So here's our section, and then right here is our aside. And obviously we don't want them one on top of the other. The whole point is to put them next to each other. But first, let's just start off with our container. So dot container, select my class of container. And the first thing I'm going to do is give this a width of 80%. I want it to be 80% the width of my screen. And I can see that it's working. It's holding my content. It's stopping it at the 80% mark, but I want it in the middle. So my margin of 0 top and bottom and auto on the left and the right. So it automatically calculates my margins and it holds my content in the middle. And as far as my container goes, that's pretty much all I need to do. So now we can jump down and look at these two here. So I have two different things here. I have my section. So I have a section and I have my aside. I want my section to stay on the left side and I want this to pop over on the right. So let's take my section and I'm going to do a float left, and then I'm going to take this and do a float right, because this is what everyone does. We know floats are what we need to move things around, but it doesn't quite work the way you might have expected when you just do that. This is moved over to the right. My footer, oddly enough, has come up over here. So a lot of weird stuff has happened. I want this to be up here. So the problem is this is taking up all the space. Because this is taking up all the space, this can't move up next to it. So when I'm floating something to the left, if it has big paragraphs or something in it, I do also need to tell it how big to be. Now I'm going to do a width on here of 70%. This is not 70% of my screen. It's going to be 70% of my container. And my container is at 80%, so it's 70% of this 80%, and maybe that's kind of weird, but I see that all of a sudden my sidebar has the space to slip in there. And just for consistency's sake, let's say a width of 25% on my sidebar or my aside. The reason I'm doing 25% and not 30 is just so we do end up with a bit of a space between them. I don't want them stuck to one another. I want to give a little bit of breathing room between the two. And last but not least, I have this here. And this is causing me some problems as well. It's here and I need to get it down below. So let's go and select my footer. And on my footer, I want to give this a clear both. And that will allow it to jump down to the bottom. Sweet. On my footer, I will also give it a background color. Of 7286A0. Let's give this a little bit of padding. Say 50 pixels top and bottom, 0 left and right. We'll do another text align center. Whoop, I made a mistake there. There we go, text align center. And I want to move it down a little bit. So on this section here, let's just add a margin bottom of 100 pixels just to give it some breathing room. And why not also give it a margin top? I could put a margin top on here of 100 pixels. The only problem is it's going to move this down, but it won't move that down. That's not quite what I want. So what I'll do is on my header, we can add a margin bottom of 100 pixels. And that will give us that margin on the bottom of this whole header, so it pushes all of my content down. And basically that's it. It's nothing too amazing looking, I'll give you that. But it's if you can create a layout like this, you're pretty much on your way to being able to make a pretty normal layout. You know, most websites are using some variation of this. You might have 3 columns instead of 2 columns. You'll have a few more colors in there, some pictures in there. You know, lots of fine tuning and playing around with things, and a lot more learning to go.
All right, so you just saw this and he just said, if you can create this, you pretty much know how to create a website. How many of you can say, I can make that?
I can make that.
Definitely can't.
Okay. You can't? Okay.
I can make that.
How many more? Just, I heard, I think 2 people say, yes, I can make it. 2 people say, I can't make it.
I said I can try it.
Okay. Very diplomatic answer, Shita. Oh. Anyways, that is what you were supposed to learn in this class. And, you know, we still have time to be able to create websites like these ones. But my hope was that at this point, you would be able to create something like this. This is simple. This is nothing. This is not complicated at all. Obviously, you can always try it, and without trying it, you can't do anything. But you know, I hope that you will be able to reach this level very soon. And without actually going and doing it, you can't ever learn it. All right. So make sure you are going and doing it, and you will be able to do it pretty soon, and you know, make even better looking websites. All right. Okay. So let's go back to our slides. Now, the most important question. So you made your website, now what to do with it? And, you know, everybody has their website on the internet and you know how to make it now, but there's a whole lot of things that you need to understand in order to publish your website. It's not actually that complicated. It's just you need to know how to do it, right? So before I teach you how to do it, I need you to learn some terminologies and like some meanings, okay? Okay, domain name. Who has heard about what a domain name is? Can anybody say what a domain name is?
Is the name of the website?
Okay.
www.
Mm-hmm.
Is the address of the website?
Okay. Yes, they're all, that's pretty much the answer for it. So a domain name is your website's name, right? The domain name is the address where the internet users can access your website. So what happens is you buy a website, right? You buy a website and you give it a name, right? Something like, you know, myname.com or something like that, right? However, computer does not understand myname.com. Computer translates it into number, okay? And it is a 2-part system. So domain name is actually the .com, myname.com, but it is also like a numbered address for your website. So that's what a domain name is. You don't need to know the number of your website, but you do need to know the name of your website, right? Or do you want to remember the number of your website? Uh, okay, anyway, sorry, that was that was not clear. Um, a domain name can be a combination of letters and numbers, and it can be used in a combination of various domain name extensions such as .com, .net, .edu, .biz, .tv. What else? Like there's a lot of them. .org. Uh, yeah, a lot of them. .design. And we'll actually look at a lot of them. All right, um, so no two websites can have the same domain name, okay, because they would be clashing, right? So because they're changed into numbers, that's why they can't have the same name, right? Uh, and domain names must be registered, and registered means you need to buy it, okay? And these domain names usually cost you about $12 to $15 yearly. So like .coms are about $12 a year. .org and .biz and all of these other weird ones cost 15. Sometimes it can cost like $45 a year. So you know it depends on the extension of the domain, who is selling it. That's a whole different story, but usually you just want to buy .com, right? If it's available. Okay, so where can I buy a domain name? These three ones are the ones. If you want, I'm just talking about just the domain name, okay? Not the server space and anything like, just the domain name. If I want to buy isalu.com, you know, where would I go? I'm not talking about the website, just the name, right? So I have used, actually I've used all three of them in the past, right? But you know, um, domain.google is where Google sells its domain. This is pretty much the standard. Other website will give you discount and whatnot. Google will never give you a discount, I don't think so. But let's see, is my name domain available? Why is pretty so slow? Okay, so .com is $12 a year. .net is also $12. Actually, .org is also $12 a year. And let's see, you have all of these extensions, right? .com, .net, .in, .canada, .app, .co, .france, .uk, .dev, .us, .info, .jp, Japan, UK, business, I don't know what MX is, club, company, you know, all of these. And you can see there are different prices a year. Parasite.host is $120 a year. And you know, you can just buy any one of them, and it's not like one-time purchase, okay? If you buy it, it's only for a year. And let's say you buy it tomorrow, today or tomorrow, exactly after 12 months, you have to pay the $12 again. Who gets the $12? There is an organization called ICANN, ICCAN or ICANN, something like that. I don't remember. And that is the company that gets the $12 a year for the .com, .net, most of them. All of these other fancy ones, like .design and you know all of these ones, .xyz, they, a little bit of the money goes to ICANN, and then whoever created this extension gets a little bit of the money too. Again, that's a whole different complicated story. Just, you don't want to overthink things right now. So .com is where you buy. And same concept, domain.com and namecheap.com. Namecheap.com and domain.com will give you like discounts and whatnot. So I had bought a website, parasrai.info, about 2 years ago. I paid 50 cents for it for the whole year. If I were to buy it in Google, I think it was $12 a year. So again, Google doesn't give you discounts, right? Namecheap gave me discount for 50 cents a year. I don't know why they gave me that discount, but they gave me that discount. I paid 50 cents and I got the domain for a year and I didn't do anything with it. But just say, okay? All right. Any questions about this?
No questions.
Okay. All right. So moving on, and here's an article where else you can buy a domain name. All right, if you're interested. Okay, so next topic on how to publish is server and hosting. Okay, the first thing you need to know is this term called a server, and the simplest way to describe a server is like a supercomputer that is always on. It never shuts off. It is on like every minute of every day of the whole year, or like for the next 10 years. It never goes off. Okay, so that's what it is. It's just like your computer, except it's superior. All right, and it depends on what the company is using. There are Linux servers. I don't think there are Mac servers. Mac servers usually run on Linux. There are Windows servers, and there are different kinds of Linux servers. Red Hat, Ubuntu, different kinds. And then there are Windows servers. Those are the main things. So that is what is it. That is what it is. It's just a supercomputer. Okay. Servers will host your website for you. Okay. This means that your website will need a home, and the server is going to be the home for your website. All right. And you will need to pay rent for your website to live inside of that home. Okay. And when you pay the rent, and the server is housing your website, that is what is called hosting your website. All right. And just like our own living situation, the more you are willing to pay, the larger the living area. Is anybody confused about this?
So,
Nope.
so whoever has a website has to have a server or like a host?
Yes. So if you want to host a website, or if you want to go on the internet, like let's say you built a website, right? And you want it to go on the internet, you can probably host it from your own computer.
Okay.
But the thing is, your computer cannot be on for each and every minute, right? Or wrong. Or,
Not on, the website is not working. Like,
yeah, if your computer is off, your website doesn't work. So these servers are these mega computers that are always on. Okay, so you guys ever heard what is called a server farm? Do you know what a server farm is?
maybe a place where there is a lot of servers. Server farm.
Yeah, it's a server farm. Server farm are these like huge fields. Like, so, if you go to the Midwest of America, like you will see like huge fields of corn, and mostly it's corn. America mostly sells corn and soybean, but server farms are like these huge fields of just computers only, and they are housed inside like they go inside a house, and then they need to be kept cool. So like the temperature is always like, I don't know, 65 degrees or something like that. So there are these mega computers, okay? Now, if you're going to use these computers, you can just use it like a regular computer, actually. The thing is, the difference between your computer and that server is that they are just like really, really advanced machines, okay? And if something is to turn off, how many, like hundreds and hundreds of companies will probably be using that server. Everything goes down. You get it? Yes, no?
Yes, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that's what a server is, right? And then like I said, now you have a website, right? So right now the websites you are creating live in your own computer, which is its house, right? Am I making sense to you guys?
Yes.
Right? But you are not going to be able to host your website because at one point you're going to have to shut down your computer or restart or whatever, and then it's going to not work, right? A server doesn't shut down like that. So if you're going to be living in somebody else's house, you have to pay rent to live in that house, right? And when you pay the rent, that is what is called hosting, okay? So you're living to pay in that server. The server is your host, okay, or your website's host, and the more you pay, the more space you get, and space is defined in like GB or like megabytes. If you pay like $2 a month, you'll probably get like 500 megabytes, right? If you pay $100 a month, you'll probably get 10, no, more than 10. You'll probably get 50 gigs of website data. And why does size matter? It's because how big are the pictures that you're going to use on your website? Like how much data is in your website? Most of the website like space, it gets occupied because of pictures, purely because of pictures. Okay, so when you are picking your pictures, you have to make sure that they are in like kbps, like the smallest size available. And also the another thing is like the bigger the picture, the longer it takes to load your website. So you might want to remember those things. Okay, I hope that you understood it. I cannot make this concept any more simpler. So it is what it is, right? Okay, so who will host my website? You have your website, so who's going to host it? And I said you can probably host your own website. It's a little bit complicated how to do it, but you can host your website, right? But there are a lot of companies that offer you this server space, right? And the most popular ones are these four companies. There's millions and millions of companies over there out there, but again, these are the most popular ones. I have used Bluehost. I have used HostGator. I think I used GoDaddy once. I didn't like it too much, but I have never used DreamHost, and they're usually the same thing. Bluehost and HostGator are usually very cheap. Okay, so let's look at what they offer. Okay.
Can I ask why you don't like GoDaddy?
It's just I don't know. I don't remember. It was a while back. So probably something happened, some sort of customer service issue. That's probably why. I did. In the end, they're usually the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's just like space, right? So something probably happened that pissed me off, and that's why I said I don't like it. Is that a good answer for you? I'm sorry.
No, I heard my friend gonna use GoDaddy because it's cheap. That I heard someone mention to use it. That's why I asked why you don't like. GoDaddy? Like,
Um,
what is your bad experience about it?
yeah, I don't really remember. I used to use it for I used to do a lot of these things. Something probably happened. Plus, GoDaddy is like the mainstream company, you know. Mainstream company is like this song you always hear on the radio, and then you just get tired of it. You know, you don't want to listen to it anymore. That's what GoDaddy is. So you want to support smaller companies. So again, does that make sense to you? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I understand. Like, yeah, my friend's gonna use GoDaddy because it keep popping up on her
Yeah,
YouTube, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah. They have huge marketing budget, you know, so they're always advertising. But it's better to support smaller companies too. Um, and so you asked, like, what's the difference? These small companies, are they reliable? The main thing is, are they is your website going to be reliable, right? Is your server going to be reliable? With HostGator and Bluehost, they're actually very reliable websites. It's not, they just don't market like GoDaddy. So I would suggest that instead of GoDaddy, they use something like Bluehost or HostGator. That's just much better to use. All right. Anyways, so let's see, $3.99 a month for basic. Oh, actually, oh wow, that's, you know, it used to be like 256 megabytes before. Nowadays they give 50 gigs for $4 a month. Wow. Anyways, I have not done this in a long time, I guess. Anyways, all right. So for $3 a month, you can get 50 gigs of space, um, unlimited bandwidth. SSL certification is just like if you're going to add like payment option, right? For your card, it's just like security level. All right. And then I don't know what standard performance is. And one included domain is, so what happens is these companies usually just combine and give you a deal, because paying $12 for a year is nothing for them. They will make the money from you either way. So they will just give you a domain. You get it? They probably buy like wholesale and then they just give you for free, you know, because they're going to collect the money anyways. Five park domains. Park domains means like domain inside of a domain, like the smaller websites. And subdomains also mean like the same thing. Once you start building, you'll start to know all of these. For $5 a month, you know, this is not a bad deal at all. Tell your friend to use this service. This is pretty amazing. What's it for, Superat?
She going to open the like a jewelry business or something,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then
Mm-hmm.
yeah, she just wants some website that's like, you know, that kind of easy.
Yeah. Let's see how much. Let's compare with GoDaddy, okay? And just hosting. So what's hosting? $5.99 a month. Yeah, Bluehost is much cheaper. Oh, they give you 100 gigs, but you don't need 100 gigs. I mean, if she has jewelry business, she'll probably have lots of photos. So maybe not. I don't know. That's why you should always have small photos. Um, they give you WordPress install. I still think this is much better. It's what, $2 more? $7. Actually, if they just pay this amount, they get everything over here. So unlimited space too. So I would suggest that your friend use Bluehost, not GoDaddy. And then what is the other one? HostGator. Are you making the website for your friend? Super. Hello? Where'd you go?
Sorry, it's mute.
Okay. Are you making the website for your friend?
No, I'm not confident to do it. So I'm not gonna do it. She have to find someone else.
Okay.
I mean, I can do basic website like for right now, but I don't have that kind of confidence to post the picture and those kind of a lot of stuff.
Oh, HostGator even cheaper. $3.95 a month. They give you unlimited domain. How much space? I don't see space. Space is the most important thing. Anyways, you get what I'm saying, right? So these are the companies who have the servers, and then you just pay rent to host your website. All right. Is anybody confused about what I'm talking about? Any questions?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. All right. So that was server and hosting. Okay. And yep. All right. So I told you that you will have to send your website over to the server, right? Now, how do you do that? Do you print out your code and put it in an envelope and mail it to, I don't know, HostGator or Bluehost or GoDaddy, or do you email them the file? It's nothing like that, right? So what and how you do it is with something called an FTP. Okay, and FTP stands for File Transfer Protocol. Okay, so it is just a connection from one computer to another computer. So you are making a direct connection, even though like you don't have a USB or any kind of wire connecting it. You're just making a connection directly from your computer to the server, and then you just transfer the files over, just like you transfer the files from one folder to another folder. That's basically what FTP is, except it goes over the network, not locally. Okay, so you'll need to send over your website, or transfer your website to the hosting company server. Okay, and after you do that, you can go live. Live means like if you type in like yourname.com and the website is showing, that is what it means to go live. If you already transferred the file, but when you type in yourname.com and your website is not working, that means it's not live. Live means type domain name, website shows up. That is live. Okay. And sorry, and in order to do that, you need to know FTP. FTP is nothing complicated. All right, so let's go over the meaning. It's just short for a file transfer protocol, and a protocol is a set of rules that a network computer uses to talk to one another. Do you need to know these protocols? No, it's just transferring files from one computer to another. All right, so simply put, FTP is the way to send files over from your computer to the server. FTP can also be linked so that whenever you make a change on your file, the file in the server gets updated as well. So it's just like saying, I have this file. Come on. All right, so I have this file and this file. So this is my computer, right? And then this is the server. All right. So my website is inside this file, right? So what I will do is I will just be like transfer over. So is that clear to everybody? What's happening?
Yes.
Okay. How? Uh-huh. Okay, that's good. Thank you. However, it needs to be done over the network, right? So you will need something. You will need a special software. So there are a ton of free FTP clients. Okay, so it's like a middleman. You need a middleman to transfer over the file. You get it? So you have to give the package to someone, and they will take the package to that person. Okay, so FileZilla. Don't even look at anything else. Just FileZilla. This is the best one. This is a free one. Just download this, and what will happen is it will have an access to your files. You just need to connect to the 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 server, and then both windows will open, and then you just transfer, like you transfer everything in your computer. Sound good? Maybe I'll show it to you right now. Actually, I have a video. The guy will just show it to you there. Okay, so let me change that before I confuse myself. Okay. All right. And there are numerous ways to send or transfer files over to the server. I like to use FileZilla, just the best. And then there's I have a whole what is FTP article if you want to look at it. Okay, so let's actually look at someone publishing a website. Okay, so creating a website and then publishing it. Like the whole process. Now, this video is a little bit old. However, the same rules still apply till today. Okay, so nothing to be worried about over there. Okay.
What is going on, guys? It's Bucky, and welcome to your 46th XHTML and CSS tutorial. And this, my friends, is a tutorial that all of you guys have been waiting for. In this lesson, I'm finally going to teach you guys how to take your website that you've been working on in your own, maybe your bedroom or maybe at school, and I'm going to teach you guys how to publish it on the World Wide Web. So finally, we are going global with this baby, taking it out and making it so the entire world can see our creation. So let's go ahead, enough of me talking, let's go ahead and get started. So go ahead and open google.com, and the first thing we need to do is we need to find something called a web host or a web server. So in order for everyone to have access to our website, we just can't keep it on our computer because I would hope no one else has access to your computer, because if everyone in the world has access to that little dinky computer in your room, then it would blow up in like 3 seconds. So we need to take those web files and put them on something called a web server. Now, a web server is kind of different than a regular desktop. It is basically a computer, or in other words, a chunk of memory on the internet, a chunk of memory that you can put web files on, and everyone in the world has access to them. So then, if you put your web files on your computer, no one else can see them besides you. If you put your web files on a web server, everyone in the world can see them. So that is how websites are created. You put them on special computers called web servers, and the entire public has access to them. So in order to find a good cheap company, we have, of course, go to Google. Cheap web hosting, not hosting, hosting. Go ahead and press enter and just click the first link that comes up. And these companies are changing all the time, so it's good to get a review of which ones are the best. But anyways, like HostGator, I used that before. That's a good one. InMotion, that's a good one too. HostMonster, that's the one I'm using right now. That's a good one as well. But anyways, here are a huge list of companies that offer really cheap web hosting. For example, it could be as low as like, $2 a month to host a website. So for example, go ahead and go to one of these companies. I'm going to go ahead and use HostMonster because I actually bought a domain a long time ago, slackroom.com, and I never used it or anything. I just bought it when I was being stupid. I was younger. And anyways, the process is this. You go to one of these websites and you type in first of all, you got to go ahead and click get started or something, and you go ahead and you type in what website you want, and most of the time they're already taken, but go ahead and type in like tomschatroom.com or davesblog.com, whatever you want. Give me your credit card information, and bam, you own the website. That is your domain name. No one else can have it. Of course, you can't like buy MySpace or anything.com. So anyways, so now you own the website and you're back at this location right here. What the heck are you supposed to do from here? Well, from here, they give you a place to log into your account. And of course, they give you your domain name right here and a password that you would have chosen whenever you first bought the account. So I'm going to enter my password right there, and I'm going to go ahead and log in. And once you log in, they take you to this thing called cPanel. Now cPanel is where you manage everything that can go on with your website. Now like 99% of these things you will never click. Most of this stuff is for web programming, if you want to buy more stuff, email accounts, but what we're focusing on is something called FTP. Now FTP is the process, it's called File Transfer Protocol, and your button might be a little different, but my button is right here, Unlimited FTP. So go ahead and click that, and a program is going to open up that looks a lot like this. There are a bunch of different FTP programs, but this one is probably the most popular. And the concept is this. This is your computer right here, and this is the web server. And what we need to do is we need to take the files from over on our computer and transfer them to the web server. Now we just can't start clicking buttons. We need to do this in a very specific way. Now, the files that the public has access to are going to be stored in a folder called public HTML. And check it out, if you double click that, you already have a bunch of files in there by default probably. These are pretty much the error files, and they might have gave you a default HTML file. So let's go ahead and go to slackroom.com and check it out. See, this is the default homepage they give you because, you know, you bought the website. They just wanted to give you something to stick up there, make it buy a bunch of ads. But what we want to do is we want to put our homepage that we made on this domain because we paid good money for it. So let's get our documents on there. So anyways, all of your files are going to go in this public HTML folder. So how do you move your files from your computer over to there? Well, first of all, go ahead and where did you store your files? Mine are on my desktop in a folder called all XHTML. And again, another thing I want to point out is make sure that your file is named index.html. By default, whenever a browser goes to the website, they're going to scroll through this public HTML folder and they're going to look for a file that says index.html. That's why it was so crucial to name it index.html. If there's no index.html file, then it's going to say, you know, website does not exist or something like that. So make sure that you have at least one web page named index.html. This is going to be your home page. So anyways, all you have to do is select that index.html file and press this upload selected files button or the right button. This transfers the file from your computer to the web server. And now your file, check it out, is on the web server. So you pretty much moved it from your computer to the web server. Easy enough. So now once you go ahead and go to slackroom.com, let me refresh this. Oh yeah, that's my website, baby. OMG, I am live on the internet. So this is actually a real website that I just went to. Now anyone in the world can go to slackroom.com, press enter, and check it out. My website pops up. And again, I only uploaded one web page, but that is how you upload entire websites to the web server. So it's pretty simple. And then again, anytime you want to update your website, just go ahead in your text editor, change your index.html file, and then come back in here, upload it again. It says, do you want to overwrite it? Yes. It uploads it again, and it would be changed. So anyways, that is the basics of how you take a website that you created on your computer and upload it so the world can see. Again, a couple of these things might be different. There are different types of cPanels, different versions. This FTP right here, this is the most common one, but there are different type of FTPs, but they're all basically the same. That's the main concept behind the entire internet, putting files on web servers so everyone has access to it. So anyways, that's all I have for you guys for now, and that basically sums up what.
All right. So again, I want to let you know that this is an old video. However, the same concept still applies. Okay, you still have to transfer when you create a website. You still have to transfer it from your computer to the server public HTML file, and you still have to use an FTP server to do that, right? So nowadays, if your files are continuously linked, it just you just make an update to one of the files, and sorry, you just make an update to the original file, and usually the FTP gets sorry, the file on the server gets updated as long as it's linked. If it's not linked and if there is some sort of connection problem, then yeah, it's not going to update. But you guys get what I am saying, right? Anybody not understanding how to publish a website? Okay, good. Everybody knows how to publish a website. Good, good, good. All right. So last, not last, sorry. So the last thing I want to talk about in how to publish is, we were talking about buying a domain name, right? So you're going to have to pay for it because it needs to be registered, right? However, there are a couple of domain names you can get for free. And the thing you are paying for is the extension, the .com. However, like, let's say you just want to create some sort of a website, and you want some sort of a domain name, you can get like free domain name. This website .tk will give you a domain name. So for example, so parasrai.tk is available, parasrai.ml is available, parasrai.ga is available, parasrai.cf is available, parasrai.gq is available, and they are all free. Okay, they're not .com and .net because for that you have to pay money. But if you just want some sort of website, right, something with a domain name in it, you can just get one of these free domains. And again, so see, like different companies use different pricing systems. Now, the reason why I suggest that you buy from Google is because, like, when you buy a domain name, the information you give, like, they're going to ask you, okay, what is your name? What is your phone number? And you have to give that information. That information is public information, which means like all of these internet companies on the, sorry, all of these small companies on the internet that help you build websites and stuff like that, they are going to find out that you just bought a domain and you don't have a website, and they're going to start spamming you with email. Okay, Google doesn't really, give your information out that freely. Okay, so that is why I pay the $12. It's worth it. That much I can tell you. All right. Any questions so far? Oh, sorry, I'm not finished yet. Sorry. Yeah, but these ones, like, nobody cares about. Usually they're looking for .com and .net and stuff like that. .tk nobody cares about, and you can just use some random name. It doesn't matter. It's free, so like it doesn't matter. Anyways, free web hosting. Let's see. There are companies that, so not bad. 10 gigs of space. If you're going to create a simple website, unlimited bandwidth, one email account, you can do like, if you have your domain, you can create your own email address, like hello@parasrai.com, something like that. Own domain hosting, so you can buy the domain here, and then you can just transfer over the domain name to this one, or sorry, the domain. When someone types in the domain, they will go to this hosting company. So you can do that. Not a bad deal, you know. Is it safe? You know, are you going to host like your Super Earth's company is, you know, her friend is going to do like a jewelry business. Is it safe for her to do it? No. You know, she should pay the $3 or $4 a month in order to have a legitimate business. But if you're just building something for free and you want to learn how to create it, why not? Free is good, you know. And then one more. I haven't used this one. I used to use, what was it? Extend hosting. I used to use this one. They gave me like, I think like 500 megabytes of space. I don't even remember like what I did with this one, but free server, and free is always good. I was looking at Google. Google actually has a program that also allows you to host for free, but I'm not sure exactly how that works. If I ever find out, I will let you know. We have we have a whole entire class, you know, 121. We still have a lot of time to talk about stuff like that. Anyways, so that is all about hosting and you know, publishing and posting and creating a website. Um, so that is that. Okay. Let's take actually shit. It's already 8 o'clock. That's fine. We have 1 more hour. So let's take a 10-minute break and come back and do mind tap. Okay. Sound good to everybody?
Sounds good.
Okay.
There's no one.